Hello, racing fans, and welcome to another webcast. This is your host and announcer, Lauren Doolittle. And on today's program, we're going to be bringing you three classes. We're going to be bringing you the modifieds, the sportsman sprint cars, and your 360 sprint cars. We're going to be doing a recap for you of the heat races, with the one exception of the second heat race for the 360s. It's a screamer, and you're really going to enjoy that one. And then we're going to bring you the full mains for all three classes. So thanks for watching, thanks for checking in with us, and let's go racing. They hit the chalk, and we're racing in Heat 1, racing action for your sportsmen. They get it into turn 1, and Barry Martinez, he gets it turned around, going the wrong way, does a 360, continues to race, no yellow. Joe Lyon would take the point, followed by Bailey Jean. Jake Hessel in the 44 in the third spot. The 22X of Trevor Cook at one point would put pressure on Jake Hessel for the third spot. However, Jake would hold Trevor off. And they would finish in the order of the 54 of Joe Lyon. In the second spot, the 14 of Bailey Jean. In the third spot, the 44 of Jake Hessel. In the fourth spot, the 22X of Trevor Cook. And Barry Martinez in the fifth spot in the 99M. Heat 2 racing action for your sportsmen. Eric Turner on the pole with Kelsey Carpenter on the outside. And those two would battle for the first initial laps for that first spot. Steve Parker and James Bundy would battle also for a lap or two. Eventually Bundy would yield to Steve Parker. And down the backstretch, Eric Turner would get that point position, and he would hold on to it over Kelsey Carpenter. So your finish in Heat 2 was the 29 of Eric Turner with the win, the 79K of Kelsey Carpenter in the second spot, the 23P of Steve Parker in the third spot, James Bundy in the 57 in the fourth spot, and Ashley Johnson in the O-Car in the fifth spot. Heat 3 racing action for your sportsman, a little bit more contentious. Well, I'm not sure necessarily more contentious, but a little bit more drawn out to determine who was going to win this. Initially, it was Bill Rood on the pole, and Bill takes the point, followed by the 22D of Devin Barnes. Corey Swatsina would get underneath Devin Barnes and then begin to put pressure on Bill Rood for that point position. Going into turns 1 and 2, Corey Swatsina would get down on the low side underneath Bill Rood. Bill would move back into the second spot as Corey Swatsina takes over the lead. Devin Barnes then immediately begins to put pressure on Bill Rood, and Bill would hold Devin off for a while. Michael Bollinger in the fourth spot in that black number 73 car. Meanwhile, up front, of course, it is Corey Swatsina. And then turns 1 and 2 that seemed to be the problem turns for Bill Rude, as Devin Barnes also was able to get underneath Bill and move into the second spot. So in your Heat 3 action, your winner would be in the 2-car Corey Swatzina, followed by the 22D of Devin Barnes, the 33 of Bill Rude, the 73 of Michael Bollinger, and the 99 of Malaki Gemmer. And here we go with the first of 2 heats for your 360s. Greg Hamilton in the 96 on the pole, takes full advantage of it, drag race down the backstretch, and he puts it into the first slot, followed by Jared Peterson in the 8P, with the 88 of Matt Jensen in the third spot. Following the initial first opening lap, there wouldn't be too much movement in this particular heat race, and Greg Hamilton would take the win in the 96, followed by the 8P of Jared Peterson. In the third spot, the 98 of Matt Jensen. In the fourth spot, the 8R of Chance Crum. In the 54 would be Chris Oakes, and in the sixth spot, the 29W of Steve James, and rounding out the field, James Setters in the 2-car. And here's Heat 2 racing action for your 360s. On the pole, it is Steve Reeves in that black and very visible orange upper wing. He advantages his pole, takes the initial lead, being chased by the young man Justin Youngquist in the 56, returning to the races after a 19-month layoff. Eric Fisher in the 59 in the third spot, giving chase to your first and second place cars. Justin would begin to put serious pressure on Reeves in this heat race. Reeves battling back mightily to hold Justin off, and then here comes Eric Fisher as he joins the fray. Steve Reeves and Eric Fisher would take the high side, while Justin Youngquist would run the low line. Eric Fisher trying to get around Justin, just couldn't quite get it done. Nor initially is Youngquist able to get by Steve Reeves, although he puts serious pressure on him. Down the backstretch, Youngquist almost looks like he's got the advantage, has to put on the binders, and Eric Fisher has to whoa up also as he gives a slight little tap to the back nerf bar of Youngquist, and this one is over. Justin Youngquist would win this at the wire, coming off of turn 4. In the second spot would be the 5-car of Steve Reeves. In the third spot, the 59 of Eric Fisher. In the fourth spot, the 33 of Colton Heath. In the 57 of Bud Ash would be in the fifth spot, and Jordan Malign in the 3M would finish it out. And we had an opportunity to go down and to speak with Justin Youngquist.
All right, race fans, we're here with Justin Youngquist. Fans, you may not remember Justin because he's been away from the track for 19 months. 19 months ago, he turned the car upside down, compressed his back, and had a concussion. And here you are, Jason. Jason. Justin, you come out. Nothing spectacular in hot laps for you, and nothing spectacular in your qualifying run. And then you admittedly put on one of the best races of the heat races tonight. What was it like for you?
It was a lot of fun. I know Steve Steve and I, we see each other every so often, Steve Reeves, so we were both excited to come back and everything. So it was kind of cool that we were both on the front row there because we talk a little bit. So that was a lot of fun. The track's a lot different than it was, last time I raced and everything. So getting used to that, having to pedal the car a little more. I've seen it a few times, where it's been really slick. So I sort of had an idea what it was going to do, but it's one thing from the grandstands. It's a totally different animal once you're in the car. So it was a lot of fun with Steve. Hot laps, I was just trying to get used to entering the corner again. It's been, like you said, over a year and a half. So entering the corner again, qualifying, I think we were 6th. So that puts us on the pole for the main. So we'll tune the car up a little bit and see what we can do.
Okay, Justin. So the next question I've got for you: what were you feeling out there when you're running those 6 or 8 laps side by side, and it was just a contentious race from the very beginning?
The track's so slick, everything just kind of slows down. We're right next to each other, so it kind of takes away that sensation of speed because everything's just so relative. So it's not that everything feels very fast. It's just getting back used to the feeling of the car, how the car handles and what's going on with it when you're in the corner, especially with the slick like that. Trying to get back, acclimated to driving the car. So it was just a lot of fun. I don't know, it feels really good.
I do have a final question for you. Did you will that car out of turn 4 to get across the line first?
I probably was on a little harder than I should have, but I could get up to him in the straightaway the last couple laps. I could get right up to him, and so I knew if I entered right, I'd be able to do it. I was gonna maybe slide out a little further, but I saw him there. I don't want to wreck anybody's cars. It's weekly racing we're just here to have fun. So I probably could have forced a little more than I did, but it was a good race anyway.
All right, well, it was a great race for the fans. It's great having you back, Justin, and have a good one in the main.
All right, thank you.
You bet.
And here we go with your A feature race for your Sportsman Sprints. On the pole, Corey Swatzina brings them to the green. And the pack is tightly bunched coming into turns 1 out of 2. Everybody makes it clean though. Corey Swatzina, he takes the lead on the first lap. Corey Swatzina picking him up, putting him down. He's already gapped the second place car, James Bundy, by maybe 10, 12 lengths, car lengths. Shot of the 99 car, Barry Martinez. By the way, folks, Barry Martinez is the owner of Speed Mart, and he, for a number of years, raced at Skagit in both the 360 and the 410 division, most frequently the 410 division, and he is a 2-time track champion in the 410 division. 410s no longer run at Skagit. They just got too expensive. Car count dwindled down, and they eventually, unfortunately, died out as we watch Corey Swatzina continue to lead this field. And Jake Hessel beginning to put pressure on James Bundy for that second spot. And now Swatzina is moving into and through traffic. And there you got a good shot of Jake Hessel as he went down low to get underneath James Bundy, carried the momentum, and did make the pass. Bundy moves back into the third spot as Hessel claims the second spot. Steve Parker in the 23, a former Sportsman track champion, is running in the fourth spot. And Kelsey Carpenter, he's running in the fifth spot, the 79K car. Kelsey's off to a bit of a rough start this season, not his usual season for Kelsey. Kelsey is the only active driver at Skagit who has won the track championship in the 410s, the track championship in the 360s, and the track championship in the Sportsman. And now Hessel comes up and gives a love tap to Swatzina, lets him know he's there. Hessel is definitely on the move as high in turns 3 and 4. Bailey Jean, the 14B, comes to a halt. Brings out the caution, so we'll have a single file restart. Clean race so far, no real incidents, no contacts between the competitors. Corey Swatzina made good that advantage of the restart. Jake Hessel finding it a little bit more difficult on this restart to make ground on Swatzina as the laps begin to run down. No change in the top 5 running order. Swatzina continues to show the way, being chased by Hessel. And the 54 car of Joe Lyon comes to a stop on the front straight, brings out the second caution of the feature race for your Sportsman. Single file restart. Hessel goes down low, tries a slide job, and he just barely misses Corey Swatzina as that car slid up the track. Swatzina has led every lap of this feature race. And as this race winds itself down, your winner is the 2 car of Corey Swatzina, followed by the 44 of Jake Hessel in the second spot. The third spot went to the 57 of James Bundy, the fourth spot, the 23 of Steve Parker, and in the fifth spot, the 79K of Kelsey Carpenter. And Barry Martinez, at the end of the race, comes to a stop on the backstretch. And here we go with your feature race for your 360s. Justin Youngquist, winner of Heat 2 for the 360s, is on the pole. They hit the chalk, they've got the green, and we are racing. Justin Youngquist comes out of turn 2 with the lead. Matt Jensen currently is in the 4th spot, being chased by Eric Fisher and Colton Heath. Excuse me. Matt Jensen is running in the second spot, being chased by Eric Fisher and Colton Heath. Meanwhile, up front, Justin Youngquist is putting a substantial gap over the field. There's Youngquist going into one, coming out of two, and he's halfway down the backstretch before anybody's even about mid-turn in turn two. Youngquist having a storybook evening for himself on his return. Youngquist already into traffic and wastes no time. He's running the high side. Bit of information when I was down talking with Youngquist following his heat win. His crew asked Justin what he wanted to do to the car as far as setup is concerned for as there's a good shot of Justin running the cushion out of 3 and 4. What changes he wanted to make the car, and we've got a car that's slowing down. That's the 57 of Bud Ash, and he continues to slow the roll. He's going to bring it to a halt, and caution's going to come out. And anyway, Justin wasn't sure, so Justin's dad spoke up and said, well, when the sun goes down, that moisture will probably be drawn back up out of the track, and indicated that yeah, maybe they should look at setting the car up for running that high groove, and that's exactly where Justin's at. He's running the cushion and doing it well. And Eric Fisher and Colton Heath have gotten around Matt Jensen. Eric Fisher is now in the second spot, and Colton Heath is in the third spot, and the fourth spot is Matt Jensen. A week ago, Colton Heath down at Elma hopped a wheel and did a couple of barrel rolls, and so it was a pretty long week for the Colton Heath team, actually the Law team, as they rebuilt that car and got it back together for tonight's racing. Boy, Justin is just looking good in this race. He has not turned the wheel wrong. And should he win it, this will be his first ever 360 A feature win. Justin had multiple wins in the Sportsman division several years ago. That car is just on rails. Your leader, Justin Youngquist. Justin doing a good job of working his way through traffic. Folks, I don't think anybody's going to catch the young Justin Youngquist, and so far nobody's even threatened him on this, as Justin has led from the drop of the green flag. Colton Heath beginning to put a little bit of pressure on Eric Fisher for that second spot. But at this time, nobody has anything for Youngquist. This is turning into a near-perfect evening and a near-perfect A-feature run for Youngquist. Fisher now holding Colton Heath off by about 2 or 3 car lengths. just a perfect, flawless drive by the young Justin Youngquist. Justin goes into 3 and out of 4, and he's going to get the checkered flag and winning his first 360A feature race, coming back after 19 months off. Your winner in the 56, Justin Youngquist. In the second spot, the 59 of Eric Fisher. In the third spot, the 33 of Colton Heath. In the fourth spot, the 98 of Matt Jensen. And in the fifth spot, the 96 of Greg Hamilton.
Who races sprint cars into victory lane, and again the first time for this guy in a 360 sprint. I will tell you when the helmet's off. Ladies and gentlemen, he's out of the race car, Justin Youngquist! Hey, what's up? That was fun. That was a lot of fun. Oh my gosh. So, well, clearly, first night back in the car. How long has it been? It was what? End of 2016, right?
Yeah, it was the 1st of October, championship night 2016. I wrecked over in turn 1, and first time I got to the hospital after a crash ever. Found out my back was pretty messed up, so I took all last year off. We're gonna run part-time this year, but this is awesome. I can't even believe it. This is crazy.
Tell me about the emotion at the moment. I mean, you won a couple in the Sportsman sprint car, but you've been trying at the 360 thing for a while. What are you feeling?
I have that one win in a 360 back in 2012, and it's really bothered me that I haven't been able to get back to victory lane until now. So thank you everybody that stuck with me. I know it's been up and down, but thank you everybody that's supporting me for all these years.
You have had an incredible support group between parents, sponsors, fans, crew. You feel like you owed them this one in a lot of ways.
Yeah, you work on the car pretty much every night of the week. And, after a while, not winning or crashing or whatever happens, it gets pretty exhausting. So to have this, we've been working pretty hard to get this car together to propel us forward with this. This is pretty big.
So I'm guessing that the heat race win was a gigantic confidence builder.
Yeah, I really hard to hold goals, come out here and get laps. And, that heat race, that was awesome with Steve, up side by side. I haven't raced on the track with you like this. This is awesome. You have the bottom and you're on the top and everything, so it's a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun today.
You were up on the top for the majority of that A-main event, coming in late with about 5 laps to go, and there's a little bit of traffic there. Is the crew trying to signal you at all, or are you trying to take it easy? What are you doing?
I'm pretty much staring at the track. I don't know, they can give me signals, but I probably won't see them. So at that point, I was just trying to see where Steve was going. I was in front of us another lap car, but just trying to figure out if I do get there, where am I going to go, what am I going to do? So it all worked out. This is awesome.
Congratulations. I know you probably want to give name recognition to a lot of these people, the sponsors and crew.
I do. Glenn, my dad, Andrew, we've got Tom, Kinsey, Morgan, Karen, just everybody involved. Cascade Pizza, Sign Pros on board this year, Farmers Equipment, all the people that have sponsored me over the years, Here 2 Wire, 92.9 KSN, they've been plugging the crap out of the races here. So it's really big. It means a lot.
We are also proud of you, man. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Skagit Speedway victory lane, Justin Youngquist in the 56. emotional night for him. Great night here at the track. Thank you guys so much for being here. Next weekend, it is the John Carroll Classic presented by IRI. Gigantic fireworks show at the end of the night. 360 Sprint Cars, Sportsman Sprints, Modifieds, Washington Modified Tour, the Outlaw Tuners will all be here. On behalf of the staff and management.
And we'll go ahead and finish up this day's racing webcast with your modifieds. And we start off with Heat 1 racing action. And up front, it's a 75C with Graham Cook and a 67S of Mike Stelz, putting on a pretty good battle for the first spot, being trailed in the 25 and the third spot by Jeff Blanton. Graham Cook seems to have the slight advantage over that of Mike Stelz. And we got a car that brings out the caution as it comes to a stop in the front stretch. And we're underway again. And with the restart, Graham Cook got off to a nice advantage over the field, and this one would finish up with the 75C of Graham Cook taking the first spot, and second would be the 67S of Mike Stelz. In the third spot, it'd be the 25 of Jeff Blanton, and then the 7B of Tim Baker in the fourth spot. And we're underway in Heat 2 action. We've got 2 heats of the modifieds this evening. All 5 cars tightly packed as they come out of turn 2 on the initial lap, first lap. Ben Gunderson in the 68 car would show the way on the first lap, taking point. Craig Moore and Rick Smith in a pretty good battle there for second place. Cars 2 through 6 are tightly bunched. Ben Gunderson taking advantage of that pack racing and beginning to gap the field a little bit. Now Craig Moore in the 51M, that blue car, he's running third. He's trying to get down underneath Rick Smith in the second spot in that 8W. And for some unknown reason, we don't know why, but Kevin Smith in the 7K elected to pull off the track. No yellow. They continue to race with Ben Gunderson in the lead. And we didn't see it. We didn't have the camera on it, but Craig Moore has moved into the second spot in the 51M, and Rick Smith drops down to the third spot in the 8W. And this one would finish up with Ben Gunderson winning it in the 68 car, Craig Moore in the second spot, the 51M, Rick Smith in the 8W in the third spot, Mel Decker in the 22M in the fourth spot, and in the 151 in the fifth spot, it would be Adam Holtrop. And here we go with your A feature race for your modifieds. Slow pace to the chalk, the green flag flies, and we're racing. Everybody makes a turn into and out of turns 1 and 2 down the back stretch. And we got 2 cars that come together and go around, and that caused the caution. on the restart. Once again, everybody through turns 1 and 2, clean, and down the back stretch they go. Kevin Smith ducks down low to gain a position. He's in the 7K car, that red car. Being Graham Cook in the 75C, and we got a car that goes around. And I believe that was Ben Gunderson. Try and make it 3 wide into 3 and out of 4 wide with your leader. And now Kevin Smith, he looks to get underneath the 51 car of Craig Moore. And he does. That moves Kevin Smith into the 3rd spot, Craig Moore into the 4th spot. Now Rick beginning to put Kevin beginning to put pressure on Cook. I'm having fits trying to identify who that lead car is. And Graham Cook, he's beginning to put pressure on the lead car. We've got a car that goes around, and it is Ben Gunderson. So that's 2 for Gunderson, so unfortunately his night is over. As he'll take it off the track. 2-spin rule here at Skagit. If you spin twice, you leave the race and go to the pits. Appears that's the 67S of Mike Stelz who's got the lead on this. As Kevin Smith now has moved into and challenging for the lead. Look, I take that back. The car that's been leading this whole thing, the entire race, has been the 8W of Rick Smith. And now the 2 brothers, they are brothers, Rick and Kevin. And Kevin Smith has now moved down underneath the 8W of Rick Smith to take the lead. So Rick Smith has led pretty much the entire race until his brother, moving through the field, has come up to take over that lead position. Graham Cook in the 2nd spot. So you got Kevin Smith running number 1, you've got his brother in the 8W, Kevin Smith running number 2, and Graham Cook in that 75C, that bright orange and yellow car in the 3rd spot. And the 151 gets it wrong coming out of turn 4, that's Adam Holter. He brings out a yellow. Kevin slow pace to the chalk. The green flag flies. We're back to racing. Craig Moore currently in the 4th spot in that 51. He's trying to get into the mix up front. We've got cars slowing down. We've got a car that turns it around and calls it quits for the day as he pulls it into the infield. That was a 10X of Dan Buttenschoen. Hate to speculate, but maybe something broke in that car and the handling went away. Now Graham Cook in the 75C, he is in the 2nd spot. He's taking that over from Rick Smith. And the cars are slowing down again. As we get another car that gets it wrong, coming out of turn 2. Appears to be the 25 car of Jeff Blanton. Here we go again with the restart. Rick Smith has retaken the 2nd spot over Graham Cook. Meanwhile, in the 51M, Craig Moore continues to run that 4th spot, trying to get up there among the top 3. And now Craig Moore looks to the high side to get around Rick Smith. Rick Smith down low. Craig Moore on the high side. Tosses it into 1 and 2. And he's going to effectively make the pass. He moves into the 3rd spot. Craig Moore been there all night long and finally worked his way into the top 3. And now he's trying to put pressure on Graham Cook. Meanwhile, up front, Kevin Smith continues to show the way. Craig Moore looks to the inside, down low. Cook holds him off. Good racing between Cook and Moore and Rick Smith in that 2nd, 3rd, and 4th spot. And just as Moore was hoping to be able to try that low line again, we got another car that goes around. Brings out the caution and another restart. As we get down to our final laps, your finish is going to be Kevin Smith with the win in the 7K. Graham Cook holds off Craig Moore for the 2nd spot in the 75C. Craig Moore in the 51M in the 3rd spot. Rick Smith, who led the bulk or a large portion of the initial race, he ends up 4th in the 8W. And in the 5th spot, it is the 151 of Adam Holtrup. Hey, thanks for watching, and always appreciate your viewership. And we'll be at this doing this all again next week at Skagit, and we're looking forward to that as we got the John Carroll Classic, the 360 sprint cars. We're going to have the Sportsman's again there, and we're going to have the modified Northwest Modified Tour, so we should have a really good car count for the modifieds. So this is your host, Lauren Doolittle. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next week.